What's going on, guys? My name is Venomous Player, and the NHL 2017 playoffs are now underway. And I'm a bit late on this because it's the second round actually just started, but I wasn't able to get a video out before the first round, and I can't make a video midway through because that's just kind of unfair. And so far, there have been no game sevens in this bracket, and some of this stuff has really surprised me. And for one, the Blackhawks getting swept by the Nashville Predators. That was extremely surprising to me. I expected it to go the other way around. I was completely wrong. And then we had Minnesota losing to um, the St. Louis Blues, which is quite understandable. Minnesota isn't the best team in my eyes. Probably different. It's probably pretty different from to you guys, but to me, not so much. And then we have um, the Ducks in the Calgary Flames. This surprised me that the Ducks ended up sweeping Calgary. It, it honestly surprised me. I thought it would go to at least a game six before the series was over, but nope, into game four and ended there. The Oilers and the Sharks was quite crazy to me. How I'm pretty sure the Sharks sweep the Oilers. No, not sweep. Um, beat the Oilers in 7-0 in one game, or it was the other way around. But I do know that the Oilers won that series, I believe, in a game six. That I expected that to go to a game seven. I thought it would be a lot closer than that series. And then here was what I'd say was my favorite matchup, mostly because my favorite team was in it, the New York Rangers, playing the Montreal Canadiens. This series was just a battle of the goaltenders. We had two world-class goalies going up against each other, being pinned against each other, and it went to a game six, and the New York Rangers scored the first empty net goal of the entire series. Even though earlier in the series, the Rangers pulled their goalie with 4 minutes left. They got one goal, but somehow they kept it in the Montreal Canadiens zone, and they the Canadiens never scored. Like, I also expected that series to go to a game seven, but it did not. And so now we have Ottawa and the Bruins. The Bruins also went out in a game six. Many of these series actually went to a game six, and Ottawa just won. There's nothing much else to say. I mean, the Bruins aren't the best team, but they're also not a bad team. But I would have loved to see the Bruins go against the Rangers, because the Bruins are actually Llama's favorite team, but like I said, that didn't happen. And here's the next round. The underdogs did not come away with the win, which I was so sad about. The Washington Capitals versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto is actually my second favorite team, so I was happy to see them make it to the playoffs. But they were the underdogs against the Capitals and got knocked out in a game six. In the last series to talk about for the first round is the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. I expected this to be a sweep after the series started. The Pittsburgh went up, I think, 3-1 in the series, and then Columbus stole a win, and then the series ended in a game five. That was quite crazy to me. And now, the, the 8 teams that advanced to the second round were the Nashville Predators, St. Louis Blues. Those two teams are going against each other in the conference semifinals, and so are the Anaheim Ducks and Edmonton Oilers. Then we have the New York Rangers and the Ottawa Senators. And then for the final series for the uh, conference semifinals, we have the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm going to start with the Predators and the St. Louis Blues. I honestly think this is going to be a very good series. Pickering the Nashville Predators goalie, versus Vladimir Tarasenko, who is an incredible player to me. He's just very good at the game of hockey. So I'm expecting that to go to Game 7, and I think I'm in favor of the Blues on this one. And then the next series, Anaheim versus Edmonton. I, I think I'm gonna call a sweep here for Edmonton against the Anaheim Ducks, just because I'd say this is a bit unfair, and that Edmonton is just gonna destroy Anaheim Ducks in the series. If not, it's gonna go 4-1. And then the series I like, the New York Rangers versus the Ottawa Senators. This is just gonna be very lopsided as well, because the Ottawa Senators went to a Game 6 with a not that good of a team, the Boston Bruins, and so this is just gonna be another lopsided series, and which is, well, that's what I think at least. And here is just going to be an absolutely insane series. The Washington Capitals and Alexander Ovechkin versus the Pittsburgh Penguins and Sidney Crosby. Those two teams are going to beat each other up. And that's what I'm really happy about. Because if those two teams are beating each other up, and the Rangers get past the Ottawa Senators, it is going to be very, very even going into the conference finals. And then after the Blackhawks got knocked out in the Western Conference, there isn't much competition that can go up against the New York Rangers, except for what I'd say the Edmonton Oilers. So it's very good that those two teams are now going to go up against each other. And now the next series, the conference finals. Like I said, St. Louis Blues and the Edmonton Oilers in who I think is going to advance to the conference finals. So the St. Louis Blues and the Edmonton Oilers. I'm guessing might go to a Game 6, but it will end in favor of the Edmonton Oilers just because they have Cam Talbot in that, and then they have I always forget this guy's name. Always. Connor McDavid. It's gonna be a somewhat close series, but I think Edmonton will come out with the series win and advance to the Stanley Cup Finals, which could be a very, very good story for the second-year player Connor McDavid. And the Conference semifinals. No, yeah, Eastern Conference semifinals. Like I said, I think Rangers is just going to be Ottawa, and they're going to go to the conference finals. But the Capitals and Penguins is definitely going to be close. I actually forgot to talk about this. These two teams, I think Ovechkin is. No, I'd say that um, Sidney Crosby is going to come out with this in a game 7, and he's going to help give his team the win of the series and advance to the Stanley Cup semifinals, and it's just going to pan out from there. So now I need to go back again to the Eastern Conference. But this is now going to be the Eastern Conference Finals, and the New York Rangers versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Of what I remember, the last time these two teams went up against each other in the playoffs, the New York Rangers won, and I'm pretty sure that was when they had Sidney Crosby and all their very good players. And now those two teams have evolved more though. It's gonna be a close series. I think it's gonna go to Game 7, but because the Pittsburgh Penguins could be so beat up in the Washington Capitals, the New York Rangers could come out with a Game 7 win. Just because of how tired the the Penguins would be. And now the Stanley Cup Finals. New York Rangers versus the Edmonton Oilers. So here's the thing. Both teams are going to leave everything they have left on this ice. This is going to go to a Game 7. That I'm sure about. Because these are two very good teams, very endurance teams, very strong teams that have beat teams prior to this. So they have played at most 21 games. Both teams. So now, when these two teams are going to go against each other, it's just going to be very, very, very tiring for both of them. But the Game 7, I think the New York Rangers have the better all-around here and more endurance. So I'm going to go with them. I do believe the New York Rangers are going to win the Stanley Cup. And call me biased, but I just gave you all the reasoning behind it. And that's just going to be the end of this video, guys. Those are my Stanley Cup playoffs predictions, and I will see you all later. Bye.